Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Dave Blazinski Be a Pro here in NHL 26. So in last episode, if you did not catch it, we had the Stanley Cup Finals, and Dave found a way to carry this team to a Stanley Cup victory, which is nice, and he also took home the Conn Smythe, which is even better to see. So a fantastic season for Dave. The only thing I would say that was a bit concerning this season is obviously we did have a bit of injury trouble during the regular season, but you can see obviously we came into the playoffs and played some fantastic hockey with 22 games played and 38 points. We are a plus 21. So a historically great playoffs for Dave Blazinski at the age of 20. And obviously now we have a very important offseason ahead where obviously his contract is up for renewal. So it's going to be really interesting to see if we decide to stay with the Leafs or if we decide to leave for a different team. I guess it really depends on who offers Dave a contract and all that. But obviously, it's a big offseason for us. Also, in terms of just player growth, we have a lot of X-Factor points and trade points to spend. So there is a chance that Dave is going to be a much higher overall than he was at his peak last season. So he's going to be probably really good going into next season, which means hopefully next year we could start to win some more individual accolades and awards and all that type of thing. But it's going to be interesting to see if Dave is still in Toronto or if he's going to be trying to take his talents elsewhere. So anyways, with that said, let's get you guys' comments. See what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we will get into what should be an interesting offseason, and maybe if there's time we might do a little bit of the season, but if there's not time, we'll obviously keep that for next episode. So the first comment from Sound Otaku says, knowing that and as a hockey fan you dislike the Leafs, I can understand why you might want to see Dave move on to other pastures. That said, you have a pretty good thing going on here, and depending on what team does in the offseason, I wouldn't blame you for staying. Should you choose that option, I would seek a bridge deal rather than a long-term contract. You never know if you'll be with like Florida, Edmonton, or Tampa with multiple cup runs, if you'll be like the current Panthers who could miss the playoffs entirely. And yeah, that's the thing with this team is we don't really know what direction this team is going to go. Are they going to be the type of team that could obviously run it back again? Or are they the type of team that's going to lose some key players in the offseason and not look as good? And then basically Dave would get stuck with a team that isn't doing well, and then he'd have to request a trade and all that stuff. I'm not too sure what path we want to go on. If we look at like our top guys that we've been playing with, like Matthews and Marner, you can see Matthews is also on a pending free agent contract. So that's actually pretty substantial in terms of maybe Dave making a decision to go elsewhere, because if Matthews doesn't re-sign, Dave is basically going to be having to play with Mitch, and who else knows down the middle. Maybe Nylander would be still signed to next year. Yeah, Nylander would maybe become the new top line center if Matthews left. Maybe Matthews already has an extension in place. I'm not too sure. And then if you look at Mitch, of course, he has got still 3 more years. If you look at John Tavares, he's only got 1 more year after this year, so depends if he retires or not, I guess, mainly. If you look at Matthew Nyes, he still only has 1 more year left afterwards. So a lot of these guys are signed, I think, for a decent amount of term, but the Matthews one is the most concerning one, of course. So, yeah, we'll see if we end up deciding to re-sign. If, like I said, if Matthews left and we knew about it before our contract stuff comes up, maybe we would obviously make that decision easier, because I think Matthews playing with him and Marner makes his line good. Nylander, we had some good chemistry with too, but I don't know if I would like that top line as much as maybe a top line elsewhere. I guess it really depends on what other teams are looking like at this point, but obviously we want to make the right decision when it comes to that contract extension or deciding to go elsewhere. Next comment from the Leafs fan who says, let's go. Finally, after 61 years, the Leafs are the Stanley Cup champions. We couldn't have done it better without Dave. He is the main reason why we won. Who knows when we will see this IRL, but at least we got it. This now comes a big decision whether Dave stays in Toronto or moves on. I will say, even if you decide to leave, I'm glad you were able to win a Stanley Cup with the Leafs, and I'm glad I was able to provide that for you guys. Obviously, I didn't know for sure if we were going to be able to get that Stanley Cup win, but then we were able to start off last episode with a really good bang, and we were able to get it done in 6 games. So it was nice to be able to help out the team and get that Stanley Cup, but obviously, like I said, now comes the question is if Dave decides he wants to help them out more so, or if he decides that he wants to try and get another team that hasn't won a Stanley Cup, or maybe a team that has won a Stanley Cup, another Stanley Cup to their repertoire. Next comment is from I'm the Quiet One, who says, I know you said that in the Discord you would try and stream this offseason so we could help you decide on what type of team you want to move or to or stay with. I played with the Sharks on my Be a Pro in NHL 25 when I got the cup during my ELC like you. I got bored and traded to the Isles because it wouldn't let me resign. I think the best thing you could do is see what contract offers will be sent and whether you think Dave should make that much. In my opinion, during the playoff run, you're the best player and regular season despite being injured. You're a point per game, I think. I think you should at least be making over 10 million. So if you choose a cup contending team, it really depends on who and what money they give you. In all honesty, I think you should join the Canes because they need someone like you, LOL. And yeah, basically the stuff with the Discord, I actually do have my Discord open right now just because that way I can consult with the guys in the Discord about maybe where we sign. Maybe they'll have a little bit of an impact into who we actually decide to sign with. So if you guys haven't joined the Discord, you guys probably should join the Discord. And that way, if in future off seasons you want to kind of help me decide where Dave goes, we could obviously have you guys help me make an impact on that as well. Like I was thinking about leaving it up to a wheel spin, but I'm not too sure if I like that randomness or not. Maybe I will still leave it up to a wheel spin at some point, but I'm not too sure about this off season. So it's going to be interesting still to see what teams offer. Because like if for instance it's only comes down to a couple of teams, maybe it's an easy one for us to re-sign in Toronto. If there's a team like St. Louis that pops up, which is obviously where Dave is from, that's going to be a really tough one to pass up on. So we're going to have to wait and see, I guess, in terms of what teams actually want Dave on their roster. In the last of the final comment is from Ice Attack, who says, Dave has fulfilled his promise of bringing the cup to Toronto. Let's go. I always knew he could do it. He's a superstar. As a Leafs fan, I am so happy. And yes, I knew you were going to be really happy when I won it. Obviously, you've been waiting for this day since this Be a Pro started, basically. So glad I could provide that for you. And aside from that, we actually do have also a lot of fan art, which I almost forgot about because obviously you guys made some cool fan art for this Stanley Cup win. So the first fan art, or first two fan arts actually, are the ones Ice Attack also made. So the first one he made is obviously just Dave hosting a Stanley Cup, but he put on a Dave emote on his head, so it looks kind of ridiculous, but there is the good old Dave celebrating the Stanley Cup. Then he also decided to update his Elite Prospects page that he was working on in the early stages of the series, and you can see now obviously he updated his profile picture to him with the Stanley Cup, and he also inputted his playoff stats and his regular season stats from the last 2 years. So it's kind of crazy that we've never played a full actual regular season so far, so I'm hoping that year number 4 Dave could stay healthy all year, so that way we don't have to rely on obviously just having a good playoff run, because if we want to get some regular season awards, we got to stay healthy. So hopefully that's something we could do, because like the most games we've played in the season now up to this point is 59 in a rookie year. Then we also have some fan art from the Leafs fan who basically just sent some AI art, which is looking like some anime thing of Dave hosting the Stanley Cup in Toronto with a bunch of teammates that look all the exact same in the background, which is kind of funny. But AI art always just, some of it's kind of cool, some of it's a little bit weird, but thank you for that. And then he also sent one of the Leafs celebrating their Stanley Cup win in 2028 with a championship banner going to the rafters at Scotiabank Arena. The funny thing is, though, it only shows Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Riley, so who knows, maybe Dave was already making a decision that he decided to go somewhere else in that photo. So we'll see where we end up, but it should be interesting to see what teams offer us a contract, and obviously we'll see if we decide to go to a different team. So anyways, with that said, I think the first thing we got to do in this episode before we get to all the other off-season stuff is decide some stuff with the X Factors. I was actually talking to the people in the Discord about the X Factors, and I think since we have 10 X Factor points, I think the best bet for us is to basically get one new X Factor with our things, which that one new X Factor we'll talk about in a little bit. But also, I think it would be great for us to upgrade Big Tipper, because Big Tipper, to upgrade it, it cost 5 X Factor points. Right now, we can't upgrade Big Rig because we don't have enough balance. We could get that balance up there and then upgrade it if we really wanted to, but I think I want to upgrade Big Tipper for now, and eventually we could upgrade Big Rig, but I want to make sure that Dave is a good deflection kind of guy in front of the net, because I know I like to go to the front of the net a lot off faceoffs and try to deflect stuff. So I think we're going to upgrade that X Factor, because I might as well. So if I actually click on that, how do I upgrade this X Factor? How do I upgrade it? Do I have to just click on it and then... Wait, oh, I have to go over to it probably. Yeah, an upgrade ability. Okay, that's how it does it. So, yeah, let's upgrade Big Tipper. And that way we now have it into the all-star range. So that's pretty nice. The next time we get upgraded is when it's 93 or higher. So we got to remember that. Now we have 5 X Factor points left, which I think, obviously, like I said, I want to use to a new X Factor. And that new X Factor that we're going to be giving to Dave, I think, is a kind of a decent one because we do run out of energy relatively quick if we're stuck in the defensive zone. So I think Second Wind could be a really good one because Dave does like to skate around with the puck a lot and use a lot of speed. And if he runs low on energy, he could get that back again and just continue to play really well. So I think our new X Factor that we're going to unlock here is going to be Second Wind. And we're going to apply that. Obviously, we could get more X Factors down the road and swap them in and out. But I think I like Second Wind as an ability. So let's put that in as that third one for Dave. So now we basically have Specialist in Big Rig in Second Wind. And then we have All-Star in Big Tipper. I think the next thing for X Factors eventually we want to upgrade is Big Rig. And then eventually we could get these into maybe the Elite territory or whatever it's considered as. So that is now our little X Factor update for Dave going into his his fourth season in the NHL. Kind of crazy. It's already almost 4 seasons. But next thing we got 15 trade points. This is going to be an interesting one. I think what I wanted to upgrade for sure with Dave is his hands a little bit because I feel like I haven't been able to deke as much. So I am going to definitely upgrade his deking a little bit. Try and get him better in terms of moving a puck around. Damn, that actually cost a lot more than I thought it did, but whatever. We got 9 trade points more. Puck control is pretty solid. We could always make him stronger on the puck, but I don't think it's a necessary thing. Passing's already very high. It doesn't really matter about upgrading yet, I don't think. What else we got here? Hyper focus is for offensive awareness. That's pointless. Poise, I don't really know if that's really going to impact anything in terms of playing though. Like, how does this impact your play level? Like, it says the ability to remain calm under high pressure situations. Does that mean your energy is going to deplete slower? Because that would be kind of interesting. Discipline affects the likelihood of taking penalties. I don't feel like we take much penalties anyways. We didn't have any single penalties the entire playoffs, so those ones might not be super important. Skating, we could continue to make Dave a fast-ass machine. His acceleration's actually not the best, and his agility's not the best. He does have great, like, straight-line speed, but he can get faster. I just don't know if it's a super important thing. Like, we have a lot of endurance. That's what makes Dave a really good skater. His balance is a little low. Maybe we could upgrade his balance a little bit. Try and get him to not get knocked off so easily. That's okay. Well, 6 more points. I feel like he could always upgrade his acceleration or agility. I don't really care about making him super strong as a physical player. His defensive game is already pretty good. We could always upgrade his shot blocking even more if we want. That costs 3 more points. Let's do that. Might as well. I kind of want to make Dave a really good two-way kind of player. And I think the last one will lose back towards skating like I was just mentioning. I think since they both cost 3, what do I want? Acceleration or agility? Probably acceleration so we could kind of blow by people a little bit. Agility is not as important probably as acceleration, but yeah, let's upgrade the acceleration as well. And that should be good. I don't really care about the dialogue options too much. I think they should be fine the way they are. So that's all our trade points and X Factor points spent. Obviously, a lot of work to do before the start of the actual offseason itself, but we wanted to make sure we got that done with. So now Dave should be when he's at full health, he should be really good in terms of overall. Like, I'm assuming he's actually up to like a 90 plus at this point. Like, yeah, let me actually see. Can I actually spend some points? Yeah, I can right now. I know it's the offseason, but let's just get this up to peak health. Just because I want to see what overall Dave is now going to be looking like going into next season, potentially with all these upgrades that he's had. 90 overall, all right. First line forward, okay. So this is what he looks like when he's fully healthy right now. But obviously he could be in the higher range early next season if he continues to grow. But he has grown up to a 90, and he's got 99 defensive awareness, which I didn't even realize. But the lowest category that we have that matters probably is, I don't even really know if there's a set weakness. I guess our skating is definitely some area we need to still work on, but I feel like Dave is pretty fast out there, so maybe it'll be okay going into next season. But all right, now we got to get into some important stuff. I guess we'll have some awards ceremony stuff soon too, showing Dave with the Conn Smythe and all that. So let's get to all that stuff as fast as possible. I don't know how long it takes. And I guess we have, we're going to be getting energy points back every single week here during the offseason too. So we might even get more trade points before the end of the offseason, but I will probably wait till next episode to spend more of them, just because it's going to add a lot of time to do it, so... and we're already peak health, so I don't even know. Let's just try and get Brand out of the unfavored territory, I think. Actually, we don't even have enough to... Let's just go to management, I guess. Even though we might be leaving this team, we want to make sure management is happy with how Dave has been. But let's go a couple days at a time, and we'll get energy back here. We should be getting some notifications about awards and stuff, I feel like, soon. As there's a notification about us winning the Stanley Cup, and Bridgeport has won the Calder Cup. All right. So we should be soon at the point where we actually get to see the awards show up. If we go to, I guess, where did I want to go? Oh yeah, Stats Central, and now we could actually take a look at the entire awards for the season. That way we can kind of have a better look of everything. So we won the Stanley Cup this year. The first 3 champions, though, have been Winnipeg, Detroit, and then us. All right. President's Trophy went to us as well, and it was Edmonton and us in the Cup Finals, of course. Kucherov won the Art Ross this season and the Hart. Quinn Hughes won the Norris in New Jersey. Second straight season for him. Braden Point and the Lady Bing. Samuel Honzig won the Calder. That's an interesting one. There's Dave with the Conn Smythe, so the first of many awards for his trophy cabinet. Hopefully we could get some regular season awards next year. Joseph Wall won the Vezina this season. Damn, last year was Stolars with Florida, which is kind of funny, but Wall won the Vezina, and he obviously was great in that Stanley Cup Finals too. Then he also won the Jennings. Keandre Miller won the Bill Masterton. Barkov wins the Selke. Kucherov the Lindsay. And Kucherov the Richard. Tampa seems like a threat, so I feel like a good thing would be maybe to still leave Toronto in a way, just because our division is so good, though, that maybe we barely miss because of how strong it is. Like, do we want to go to an easier division or something like that this offseason? Like, if a team in the Pacific offers us, would it be an easier time for us to get back to the playoffs or something? I don't know. Like, do we want to take our talents to the West Coast? Do we want to stay in the East? Who knows? But we'll obviously have to see what teams offer us first and foremost. Which I'm honestly not too sure which teams are going to want Dave on their roster. I feel like most teams would, but I don't think we're going to get an offer from every single team. It's probably only going to be like a select 5. So who knows what teams actually want to have him on their roster. Like, it wouldn't make sense, I guess, if they already had an elite first-line left winger. So... But yeah, we're going to continue to get as much trade points as possible going into next season. So that way we could spend more of them at the start of next episode. Or maybe we'll do that at the end of this episode still. Because I would like to do a new game with a new team if we actually do sign with a new team. But at the same time, I'm not too sure if that's something I want to leave to next episode or not. Like, I know myself, I'm going to be wanting to itching to play as soon as possible. But who knows if we'll get there or not. But yeah, these off-season parts are a little bit boring. I know that I'm not going to be necessarily making a lot of cuts and stuff like that, because obviously we're just going to get energy points back. I didn't even mean to spend that one there. That kind of sucks, whatever though. Yeah, I know we're just basically consistently spending energy every single week, but I think it's important so you guys can kind of see how many trade points we can accumulate. As this is the draft lottery results, not that it really impacts our team. But Seattle's going to be drafting first overall, so Seattle's not a good team, I guess. Dallas is not a great team. San Jose's not a great team. Vancouver's not a great team. And Columbus. All right, so those are all the type of teams that didn't make the playoffs. I think when you do have that contract extension, it does show what teams, like, their record was last season. So we should have a little bit of better picture when we get a chance to sign elsewhere of which teams were good and which ones weren't. But those are the teams that have not made the playoffs this year. So we'll try and keep that in mind when we do decide to sign somewhere, because I think obviously we want Dave back in the playoffs as soon as possible. We don't want him to go to a team where he has to dig them out and then get them into the playoffs. I mean, we could do that and do the same thing we did kind of with the Leafs. You know, the Leafs were contending right out of the gate. They ended up obviously getting swept in the first round of year 1. And then year 2, they missed the playoffs. So, I mean, we could always try and dig a team like Columbus or whatever out of the water and try and get them a Stanley Cup too. It'd be kind of interesting to get some teams that have never won a Stanley Cup, but obviously that's a lot of more work and a lot more seasons would have to be put into that in order to have it happen probably. But I don't really know if I would want Dave on a rebuilder or trying to still contend for another season. Let me save this quickly again just in case we end up losing any save files somehow. But yeah, I wonder how much points we're going to put up next year if we stay healthy. Because since we had 74 points in 56 games, we should be able to easily have a season with over 100 points if we play all 82 games, that is. So I think oh, here we go. We got our contract offers. I didn't realize it was going to pop up already. And holy crap, the money. I did not expect Dave to get offered this much amount of money out of the gate. Well, we have a lot of teams interested, and we're going to run through them right now, and then I'm going to have to consult with the Discord about where to sign. So the first contract offer is with the Toronto Maple Leafs again, 4-year deal at $15.475 million. So they would give us $15 million to play with them for the next 4 seasons. Everybody seems to be offering 4 years, which is good because it's not super long term, I guess. Calgary, who went 42, 32, and 8 last season, is willing to give us a 4-year deal at 14.89, which is just not as much as Toronto, but it's still decently high. Then you have the Flyers, who were around 500 last season, kind of mid. They want a 4-year deal at 13.87. They have 11 left wingers. Calgary has 13. Toronto only has 6. Then you also have the Jets. So it's only 4 teams interested in Dave. The Jets would be willing to do 14.015. So it's another Canadian team. And they have 6 left wingers. If I'm being honest right now, it would be fun to stick with another Canadian team. So I don't feel like the Flyers are a great option. But I feel like the Jets could be fun. 40, 35, and 7. They have the same amount of left wingers as Toronto. But it's a lot less money. But also, it's a chance to help a team out in terms of winning a Stanley Cup that's never won one. So, I am going to grab some screenshots here in video. And that way I could send them over to the Discord. And then they could let me know what they think we should sign. Because I'm honestly not too sure. I hate that you have to select right here and you can't wait longer. But let's send that over to our Discord. And I guess I'll just talk while I see if any of them actually reply or not. Hopefully they're actually active, because if they're not active, I mean, Ice is probably in class right now, but hopefully he sees this. There you go. Now I'll have to wait and see if they'll actually respond. I'm literally leaning towards the Jets, but I also, like, Toronto's obviously offering a lot more money, which is great, but $14 million to me is not much less than $15 million. Like, at that point, it's just a blur of money. Calgary would be cool, too. I mean, they're not that bad of a team, it looks like, but they do have a lot of left wingers. I feel like we'd still be the best left winger on that team, so it wouldn't really matter too much. Same goes with Philadelphia, but Philly, I don't feel like is a team that I'd see Dave playing in just yet. I mean, it would be kind of cool considering he's a orange-haired kind of dude playing for the Flyers, but let's see. Oh, and Bry's already talking in the Discord. Bro, why didn't Carolina offer? The Leafs fan, oh, hell no, you got to resign with the Leafs. Bry disappointed. And then now TLF saying, oh, re-roll and see if St. Louis shows up. Which, obviously, the only way you re-roll is if you quit the mode and stuff, and I'm not doing that. Nah, not re-rolling. I'm leaning towards re-signing or Winnipeg. Now let's see what they say. I know this is kind of stupid to throw this in video of me just actually negotiating with them and stuff. Bry is saying Winnipeg. TLF is saying re-sign. Of course the Leafs fans are saying re-sign. 14 million ain't much different than 15 at this point. It's a lot of money regardless. This is so stupid. You guys can't even see this chat too, so you're probably like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, I feel like Winnipeg still could be cool. And now they're asking why 4 years. I mean, that's probably because they don't want to commit to 8 years. Bridge deal, I guess. By the end of that contract, Dave would still have, like, he'd only be still 24 at that point. So it's kind of interesting. Like, he'd still have a lot of career left after wherever he decides to sign. Now they're bringing up that I would be captain as if they didn't re-sign Matthews. Should I do it? I don't know. I don't think I really need to be a captain of a team. Alright, so I didn't really come to a full consensus on which team to select. Yeah, obviously there is, like, the Leaf fan people want him to re-sign in Toronto, which makes sense that they'd obviously want that. Then there's obviously the argument for still going to a new team and helping them win a Stanley Cup. Obviously the Flyers haven't won in a very long time. The Flames as well. The Jets obviously never won because they used to be the Atlanta Thrashers, of course. So I feel like taking our talents to a team that hasn't won in a while could be fun. Obviously, I think we delivered on our promise of helping out Toronto, but now we could help deliver a promise somewhere else. So I think we should do a new team. I know it's kind of weird just to do after 3 seasons, but I feel like at this point, like the contract offers, they're not really that much different when you look at them. Like obviously the Flames are gonna be willing to give a lot more than the Jets. But would we want to go to them? I mean, both of them are pretty similar teams. I feel like it could be either or, and I think Dave would be good on either or. So I think, should I put this part up to a wheel spin between Calgary, Winnipeg, and then also maybe throw in the Leafs into it? The thing is, I can't really screen record a wheel spin. Unless I opened a browser thing on my OBS. This is really tough, man. I hate that I have to make this decision right now. Jeez, I can barely talk, apparently. Trying to think. I don't think it really matters the amount of left wingers on a team, per se. Yeah, I don't think it matters the amount of left wingers on a team because we're going to probably be the best regardless. I just wish I could see, like, the lines for these teams, too. That would be kind of nice to see that on the screen. Trying to think. Do I want to go to Winnipeg? I'm trying to just picture Dave in the jerseys for these teams. I feel like Winnipeg's jerseys, obviously being blue like the Leafs, are pretty similar. It would be interesting to see Dave in a different color. I think I'm going to go to Calgary Flames. They are the highest paying team other than the Leafs. They were a little bit better than the Jets during the season. They might have a lot more left-wing competition, but Dave technically should be by far the best left winger on this team, I would assume at this point. If he's not, of course, he could build up to that. Philadelphia, I just don't feel like I don't feel like Philadelphia is a place that Dave needs to go to yet. Eventually, maybe he could join the Flyers, but I think I'm going to go to the Calgary Flames. We could try and help them get a Stanley Cup because they haven't had one since, I think, 1989. So that'd be fun. And obviously, it's a 4-year deal, but if we're not playing good during those 4 years, we could request a trade, and then maybe they trade us somewhere else. Like I said, the Jets have never won a cup, so it would be kind of fun to help them win a Stanley Cup. But I think we're going to go with the Calgary Flames for this. And I think a lot of people in the Discord might think I'd go to Winnipeg just based on our little talk and all that. But I think I'm going to help out the Calgary Flames. And I think I want to see what Dave looks like in red for a change. So thank you, Toronto, for your time. I appreciate you willing to give me a lot more money than most teams. But I think we got to give Dave a chance and see what he's like in an Alberta lifestyle. So let's head on to Alberta and join the Calgary Flames. Yep, that's an interesting decision. I don't know what to think of it, but obviously we'll find out if we made the right idea. I don't know if, oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to change Dave's like stick colors and his, all that stuff for the next game, but holy crap, man. I would hope we made the right decision, but if Austin Matthews left to free agency from Toronto as well, then we probably made the right call because, I mean, they'd still have probably a good team, but I feel like that team, they were great this year, but eventually they could be on the downwards trend. Maybe the Flames are a team that is just young and up and coming, and maybe we could help push them to being that better team as well. So I'm excited to see who there is on their lines. Obviously, we can't take a look at that yet, but we will do that once we get to the start of the year. But it is in the free agency period now, so I'm curious on where people are going to be signing. So obviously, we're going to take a look at that in a little bit. But let's create a new save file just in case for some reason. But I guess Oilers fans are going to hate Dave even more because he just won a Stanley Cup against them, and now he's joining a rival. So we're going to get to play against McDavid a lot more. I think that's also kind of a fun thing. A lot of good rivalry in the Battle of Alberta, so to speak. So I think we're good with that. So I think we are going to... Yeah, we're going to advance a day, I guess, at a time and just get through this out. We have a conversation with the media right away about signing with the Flames. So here's our first media thing with Calgary. I like these little sweaters that they have. Got that nice black logo on it. As you begin your career, begin this new adventure in your pro career, what was your thought process of finding a new team? Was it as much as getting a chance of new scenery, or is it getting a contract? What went into this? I realize I just don't even have my headphones on right now. Normally I do when I'm playing this mode, but whatever. It's about finding the right fit where I could contribute and thrive. A change of scenery felt right, and this team offered a great opportunity to grow. I'm ready for a fresh start to make an impact. It's about new challenges, improving myself. I'm not too sure. Let's go with the humble answer because we're obviously meeting we have some new teammates. I don't know why our teammate liking is still high up, but Uh, Would you be willing to go back to your former team at any circumstances? I focus on making most of the opportunities and see what's ahead. I'm dedicated to this new chapter, but I'll always value my time with the former team. I wish I would say actually what former team it was, but it's true. I honestly would. I'm dedicated to this new chapter, but honestly, I would be willing to help out any team in the league at this point, other than maybe Montreal. But what are some goals that you hit with your new club? I'm aiming to be a game changer and lead this team to victory. I want to contribute positively and help this team reach its goals. I'm committed to driving success and achieving great things with my new teammates. I like the teammate answer, but obviously we don't necessarily need the trade points, but let's get more trade points from that. I feel like that's true, though. I want to kind of help out the guys that are playing on the Flames. Like, I'm not too sure who we're going to be playing with, but maybe we got to play with like guys like Matt Coronado. There's maybe some good young talent on this team that we could help develop their careers a bit, so I'm kind of excited about this opportunity, obviously. Like I said, it does kind of suck to leave a team in the ditch after winning a Stanley Cup, but we're trying to spread the wealth around the league. We're not trying to just make one team a dynasty. We're trying to maybe make multiple teams win a Stanley Cup at least in this type of universe. So I think that's probably our goal. Hopefully we could win a Stanley Cup with Calgary over these 4 years that we're signed to them with. Obviously, we don't know if we're going to spend all 4 years with them. Like I said, if they get off to a bad start, in maybe the first or second year of Dave's contract, maybe we could decide to request a deal somewhere else, but I think for the time being, we'll be fine. All right, now we're into that part of the offseason where it's just a grind about simulating once a week, basically, and getting those energy points back to spend on trade points, but well, hopefully we could get through this part relatively quick. But yeah, I'm excited to see how Dave looks on the ice as a Flame. Like, I love this jersey a lot. That's another thing that makes this decision, I think, a little bit easier, is this Calgary Flames jersey is probably one of the best jerseys in the league, in my opinion. I do like their older ones from the 2000s better with the black logo, but this jersey is still an iconic jersey. And since they won the Stanley Cup in 1989 with this similar look with like Lanny McDonald and all that, it would be kind of cool to see if Dave could be that type of guy for their team as well. Maybe we could give Dave like a Lanny McDonald stash for the playoffs. That'd be kind of hilarious, but I don't know if I'll do that or not. Because that'd be kind of funny just to make him look like Lanny McDonald in a sense. But maybe we'll make him look older as his career goes on if I could do that. Obviously, he's only still 20 years old, so it's not like he's that old yet. But if we end up doing this right till the end of his career, maybe we could start to make him have like different colored hair, like gray a little bit. That'd be kind of fun. Make him a little bit more dynamic in terms of how he looks out there. Maybe we could grow out his hair, change his hairstyle, but I feel like keeping him his similar look all the time would be kind of fun too. But obviously, once he gets older, it would make sense for him to have a little bit different coloring and all that. But I don't know if we should change what type of stick we use too and all that. I feel like the yellow stick that we have, the Easton one, kind of goes with the Flames jerseys a bit. But obviously, we need to change, like I said, like the stick tape color, because that blue just does not obviously go with the red that much. And the same goes with the visor. So we'll probably go with a red visor and red stick tape just to kind of make it look a little bit more thematic. So we'll definitely do that as well in this episode, just to kind of get him looking like a Flame more than he looks like a guy that just got dealt at the deadline. I guess he kind of joined, or not at the deadline, I guess, or off season, but I guess he joins a lot of former Leafs to go to the Calgary Flames, because whenever I think of Toronto and Calgary, I think of obviously that big Dion Phaneuf type of trade back in the day. So obviously, like, Dion Phaneuf was part of both teams. Freddie Sjostrom, Nicholas Hagman. Like, there's a lot of ex people. Even Lanny McDonald played for both franchises. So I think it's a kind of a cool historic move for Dave to change from one of those teams to another. Obviously, Doug Gilmour played for both franchises. Like, there's definitely some really historic players, and now Dave joins that list. Maybe eventually at some point in his career, if we're getting near the end, he could go back to Toronto again. I'm not going to put that out of the question, but it will be interesting. Like, if we ever decide to get dealt at it by a team, like Calgary, for instance, what teams are actually going to trade for Dave? Because obviously, signing places, you get to choose, which is fun, but I kind of prefer a little bit of randomness to it. So it'd be interesting to see if when Dave eventually gets dealt from a team, if he ends up getting dealt for a lot of stuff, and if he does get dealt, which teams are willing to actually send prospects or picks back in exchange for him. Or maybe we get traded for a superstar level player in the NHL. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm really excited just to kind of get a fresh start, even though technically Toronto was a lot of fun. Maybe Calgary's not going to be as dangerous of a team in a sense. Maybe they're going to be decent. But I feel like the Western Conference hopefully should be easier for us. I feel like it, but maybe it won't. But the Atlantic Division was kind of a bit of a war zone. So obviously we did dominate ourselves to a President's Trophy last year, though. So who knows? But yeah, I wonder still who we're going to play with. That's my number one thing right now. I really hope that we chose a team that has maybe some decent line mates on it. Obviously, it's not going to be probably as good as Matthews and Marner in terms of overall rating, but maybe they're type of players that have good potential that could grow a lot. So I just realized we also left Plecky behind in Toronto, which kind of sucks, but maybe Plecky will eventually join us on this team. Plecky was one guy I was really looking forward to playing with maybe on the top line eventually, but I think eventually at some point maybe we'll run into him again, but I don't think I'm going to be trying to be as physical if I play against the Leafs, just because obviously we don't want to injure our former teammates. But if we're playing against Plecky and stuff like that, I think he's got a lot of potential to become a decent scorer for that team. So maybe he's the type of person that's going to eat Dave alive eventually down the road. All right, we're already into September, just because I've been rambling a lot about random stuff, but hopefully you guys still find this at least interesting. I do still think it would be kind of fun to get into a game, but also at the same time, I don't even know what I could really do for a thumbnail. Like, I am going to definitely have to use an old photo of Dave in Toronto probably in the thumbnail, just because, or else if I use him in a Flames jersey, you guys are going to know that he changed teams. Unless I could do a Photoshop job and put him in all uniforms, which I don't think I really can, but I'm not that good at that type of thing, so we'll see what we end up using as a thumbnail and all that, but it would be fun to play a game in this episode, I think. But obviously we got to still see a lot of things like how our lines look and all that, so we'll see what we're like at time by that point. But I don't want this episode to be super long either, because that way I could get it out a lot quicker for you guys. So we'll see what we do with that. All right, I think we're only a couple weeks away from the preseason, which is good. We have 8 trade points again, so we have a lot more again for the upcoming season. I guess the preseason stuff is appearing now because it's loading. Yep, there it is. Our first preseason game is against the team we just beat in the Stanley Cup final. So, yeah, that's exactly what I was anticipating. Is we have another conversation with Macklin Celebrini. He hasn't talked to us in a few years. What? I'm excited to watch you score more. Macklin, you know you're talking to a Stanley Cup champion here. I know you have never won a Stanley Cup in your career at this point. I've already got you a beat in terms of that, but why are you saying congrats on the first goal and I'm excited to watch you score more? That's definitely a bug. I'm thrilled about scoring my first goal. I'm aiming for many more. I mean, I've scored a lot of goals in my career at this point, but we'll take some legacy points. I don't even know why that appeared. Maybe it's just because we changed teams. That's very weird. That is strange. Well, let's keep on advancing as we approach our first preseason game. I don't think I'm going to play the preseason again, just because like a few years ago or last season, I think it was, preseason's not as important as it used to be, because it used to be important with us trying to fit our team and all that stuff, get that chemistry going. I mean, technically we don't have that chemistry with this new team yet, but I'd prefer to figure that out during the actual season itself rather than the preseason. But yeah, I think I might play one regular season game in this episode. Only one. Just because the other stuff probably takes a lot of time and all that. But we're going to simulate through the preseason. We'll see who we play in our first game of the season. But I think we'll do either 1 or 2 games. It depends on, I guess, if it's a home game or not. Because I kind of want to do a home game just to kind of get our feeling for playing in, obviously, the Saddledome, even though technically in real life by this point the Saddledome will not be used anymore. But let's save again since we're at the start of the season, our preseason at least, and then we're going to bypass the preseason. So let's go up here and we will go to advance a dig. Yeah, because we're not caring about the preseason at all. I wish it says sim up to regular season. That'd be kind of nice, but oh, looks like Dave had a good start in this preseason, but like I said, we aren't caring about the preseason at all. So he looks kind of good in the white too. And there he is. Apparently, yep, yeah, he had some points in this preseason with the Flames already. But like I said, we're not going to care about that. He's got 5 points in 2 preseason games as a Flame. That's funny. You guys might want to see him in the preseason, but at the same time, I think you guys will understand that the regular season is where we need to obviously put our effort into. But it's kind of funny to see him doing that well in the preseason, as Dave's health is still going down because of the simulation games. I almost forgot about that, so let's make sure that's fully healthy. And we'll keep some trade points just because of that. I forgot that it takes away energy even when you're simming. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. Makes sense. Alright, I think preseason should be almost done. Maybe not. Maybe still a couple more games. Let's double check Dave's health again. Hopefully it doesn't go down by an astronomical amount. Okay, it's not that bad right now. But hopefully we get some energy back before the start of the regular season, of course. So let's advance through this Canucks game, as we don't care about that. And looks like there's still this other preseason game coming up against Seattle. But I think we should have some more energy points back before the season starts, which is good. Because I want to be energized and ready to go in our first game, regardless of who we face. Let's see, go through this one. There's some more energy back as I was expecting, so we're good on that. Let's advance through the Seattle game. And there's another preseason game. Damn, there's a lot more than I expected. Let's get this energy spent a little bit. We have 8 energy points, so we might as well put them in, some of them into some areas. As long as we keep 3, we should be good. All right. Another preseason game is San Jose. Let's see how this one goes. And all right, regular season. Our first game as a Flame is against Seattle in Seattle. Interesting. So that's what we're going to probably play in this episode. And I think I want to do our first home game too, if that pops up. But we do have a conversation first with Macklin. Congrats on making the roster. Bro, I've been on the... I was going to make the NHL regardless. I'm a 90 overall. I'm a 90 overall, bro. I'm probably as high of an overall as you, or maybe a little bit lower, but still. I don't understand why those scenes are still appearing into my 4th season in the NHL, but whatever. All right. We got a conversation with the coach before our first game, and then we obviously got to take a look at who we're playing with. Wow, they want us to win the division this season. Damn. So I guess the Flames are trying to push for a Stanley Cup. This is our new head coach. He looks different than the other head coach. Oh yeah, we got to set our goal for the season, start of the season. 8 points and maintain a 15 shooting percentage, 10 points shooting 12%, and advance to game 8 with a 75 forward score. I guess we will, more points and a lower shooting percentage is probably good. Let's go with that, I guess, as our goal. So that's going to be our first goal as a Flame. 80 form score, 10 points, maintain a 12 shooting percentage. And then we also got to win a division this season, apparently, which I don't know how good this team is. So it's going to be interesting to see what they look like, to see if we actually will be able to help them out or not. All right. Couple things before we get into our first game as a Flame, because we have how many games? We're gonna do probably 2 games in this episode, I'd like to say. If they're both road games, probably not, but let's see. Game in Seattle and a game against Winnipeg in Winnipeg. Oh boy. All right, so I think we'll only do 1 game then, because they're both road games. I was hoping to do a home game in this episode, but that doesn't happen for, let's see, how long until we actually play a home game. That doesn't happen for quite a while. Wow, we're actually on a long road trip until the 26th. So yeah, we'll definitely just do 1 game in this episode. But we have a lot of road games, and a couple of them are against teams that we could have signed with, Winnipeg and Philadelphia, before we head home to play the Edmonton Oilers. And look at who comes to Calgary on the 29th of October, the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we'll be playing our old team on the 29th of October. I'm kind of glad it's an early season game, because that way Dave should be healthy and he shouldn't be out of the lineup for it. So we will definitely take that. All right, before we get into this game against the Kraken, let's take a look at who we're playing with on this team and what this Flames team actually looks like, because I'm not too sure what they look like whatsoever at this point. And then obviously we got to update Dave a little bit, but this is our roster, and honestly, they might have just as good of depth as Toronto, but maybe a little bit better in some areas, maybe a little bit worse in some areas, but it looks not that bad. So I had to put on my headphones. But anyways, top line of Dave, Sharangovich, and Matt Coronado. I like that Coronado is a 25-year-old. That's an 89. He's looking pretty damn good, generating some X factors. He signed here also for 4 years, just like Dave. So I think that's a really good top line. Obviously, Sharangovich is a bit older, but solid top line. Second line is Trevor Moore, who somehow grew to an 87. He is 33 years old, though, at this point, so he might be on the drop-off. He's pretty similar to Tavares at this point, I guess. Connor Zari's here. Then you have Mangiapane, who's back in Calgary, I guess, unless he never left. No, he did leave and came back again. That's kind of funny. And then third line is Huberdeau, Honzig, and Fabry. Obviously, Honzig last year was the Rookie of the Year, I think it said, with 35 points. Yeah, so he's coming off some good seasons. Or a good season, I should say. And a fourth line, Dryden Hunt. Nazem Kadri is still here at 38. He's definitely going to be retiring soon. And then you also have Blake Lizotte. So that's a pretty solid forward group for us to be playing with. I like that. We're obviously the best overall forward on this team, but obviously in Toronto we wouldn't have been. It's kind of funny because it still shows us in a Leafs jersey in the picture. I don't know if that will ever update, but that's kind of funny. And then from a defensive standpoint, this defensive core is not bad. Zamula, Parekh. Obviously playing with a young Zane Parekh is kind of fun. I think that's a cool thing for Dave. There's also Carrier, Ball, Uyghur, and Ristolainen has joined this team too. Did we ever play with Risto? I don't think so, right? I don't think he played Toronto, right? No, he was always with Philly, okay. And then from a goaltending perspective, Dustin Wolf, who's 27, and the Bussy, of course, scratched. Jared Anderson-Dolan, Jacob Bryson, and Tara Vinen with an X factor scratched, but he has dropped off a lot, so kind of makes sense. All right, this is not a bad team. It's kind of nice being the best overall player on this team. I don't know who the captain is, but I kind of like some of the youth on this team. Like, we get to play with Coronado, who's decently young. Connor Zari's 27, I guess, at this point. Honzig's still young. There's obviously Parekh, who's decent. So there are some young faces on this team that could grow a decent amount. So I like that. And I did also want to take a look at if Matthews re-signed in Toronto. I think we'll have to do that before the end of this episode, but we won't take a look at it just yet. Let's do one last thing before we get into this game, which is edit Dave and give him, obviously, his red stick tape and red visor, which is going to look a little strange at first, but I think we'll come to get used to it. So we'll go customize, visor tint, and what does the red one look like? Okay, that's kind of cool. It's not as cool maybe as the blue one, but we got to make him look thematic. We could also go with a yellow one if you guys think a yellow one's cooler for next episode, but I think the red one is just, it fits better. And then, of course, we got to go to a stick as well. And we got to customize this top part to not being a Leafs blue. We got to make this instead over to a Calgary Flames red. Like this one or this one? I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Let's go with this one, the darker one. All right, so that's like the new look for Dave, at least going into the season. Like I said, we could change some things up a bit, but let me know if you guys think he should get updated or not. And like, do you guys think we should change types of sticks and stuff that Dave uses, or just use the same Easton stick? I feel like using the same Easton stick is probably the best bet, but yeah, if we want to stay on the first line power play, we got to obviously maintain an 80 form score. So let's get off to a good start with our first game of the Flames. It is in Seattle, but it's going to be interesting to see Dave out there with his new team. So let's get this one game done. There will be no cuts probably in this game just because it's way easier to edit that way. As we take on Zach Werenski, it looks like, in the Seattle Kraken. So Werenski must have left Columbus, which is interesting. So this universe gets more and more crazy. And then, yeah, after this game, we'll briefly take a look and see if Toronto's played a game and if they still have Matthews and who left maybe in the offseason. All right, Seattle. I don't know if, I think it's been a while since I've played Seattle. I don't remember if we played against Seattle last season with Toronto or if I was injured during that time period. But there's going to be a lot of teams that we've never played with before, so. Oh boy, Dave already looks strange out there being in a different color, but like I said, I think it's going to be a good test for him. Being the best overall player, he's going to be looked upon on this roster as he's already got the puck. Dave throws it to Zamula. Zamula, a shot, Decord makes the save as Dave trying to pick up an assist on his first shift as the Calgary Flame. All right. That's a good look off the hop as we just see the back of these fans. Oh, man. Yeah, this is exciting to play with the new team, but I could see why a lot of you guys wanted me to stay with Toronto. And I think, like I said, I could go back to Toronto at any point. I'd be willing to go back there and help them out. Nice block. Let me get back to the point because I can't go down to that corner. Oh, nice hit, Dave. Montour can't hold on to that and comes out of the zone. Dave will have to chase after it. That's kind of crazy that Zach Werenski is now in Seattle in this universe. All these teams changing a lot. Coronado up to Dave. Maybe a new future line combination here. Or not line combination. Good chemistry as Dave gets his first shot as a Flame. And he's turned away again. Let's get a screenshot. I don't think we'll obviously be using it in a thumbnail because or else you guys will be like, oh yeah, he definitely changed teams. But I still need to get a picture of him in his debut with the Calgary Flames. He actually looks pretty good, I'd say, in the red. But obviously, since his last name is Bluzinski, I feel like we should have maybe sticked with some blue teams. But obviously, maybe at some point we'll join the not the Calgary Flames, the St. Louis Blues. It just depends on obviously if they trade for us or if they're a team that obviously has interest in us in the off seasons. But we're signed here for 4 years. I don't know if we'll actually spend all 4 years here or not. Depends if we can help them get a cup in that span or not. Here's Dave again. Dave will hold on to this puck on the right side for a change. Throws it back to Zamula. Zamula finds Perek. His shot doesn't get through. Sharon Govich tried to throw it up front and doesn't get to anybody. Who the heck is this Champlain? I don't think I've seen a generated guy with that last name, so I don't know. Oh, Dave tries to get to that puck. Can't. Let's block this shot. Oh my goodness, that was a dangerous shot. Oh no. Nice save, Wolf. Holy crap, man. Yeah, we're a little bit like we don't have that chemistry that we had yet with our top guys in Toronto yet, but I think we'll eventually generate it. I'm just really hoping that we can get some points in this first game. Because obviously we want to be able to maintain ourselves onto this first line power play. Because it would be kind of stupid if they took us off the first line power play with us being the highest overall player on this team. But here's Dave. He's got some space. Dave making some moves. We'll hold on to it and he'll get another shot because Coronado was a little slow getting to that open spot. But a good chance there. I got to get used to my teammates not being as fast. Because obviously Marner was decently quick on our top line. Matthews was okay in terms of speed. As it looks like there's a sim engine goal here. In our first game, it's multiple goals, and it's 1-1 apiece. All right, I don't know who scored for either team, but at least it's a 1-1 game rather than us trailing. I don't know who scored it all. Hopefully it was a decent line, because I don't mind if the depth obviously picks up the pace at the beginning of the season, but I want to obviously do good work with this top line. Is Sharon Govich with a chance, turned away by Decord. Oh, nice hit there. Oh man, good hit there, Coronado. I think Coronado is going to be our new Marner to play with. I think I'll be able to set him up a lot. But Kempe scores as we're a -1 here in Calgary. Well, that's a shot that you would think Wolf would stop. But quick release from Kempe. That's not great. Kempe's changed teams as well. So a lot of players are changing around in this league here in year 4. But yeah, I was expecting a save from Wolf maybe here. But unfortunately, he doesn't get it as it goes glove side. Kind of a weird looking shot, to be honest. It was quick release, but that kind of sucks to be honest. Actually, it wasn't glove side, it went blocker side. Alright, don't like that I'm a -1 already, because we want to try and have a really solid first game here, but I know that the game is going to make it hard for us probably out of the gate. Like, the playoffs was pretty easy for us, I feel like, for the most part, but I feel like this is going to be more of a challenge first for us. Here comes Dave. Dave will hold on to it, looking around. Dave throws it back over to Ristolainen, and that shot is blocked. Ristolainen's got it again. Over to Dave. Dave tries to throw and pass in the middle, and then he gets hit too fast off that puck. And it comes back our way. Kempe again. Nice poke check there by Risto. Oh, god damn. Yeah, I feel a little bit anxious playing on a team with Ristolainen, not going to lie. Let's see. Let's see if we get one more shift at least in this period, but not necessarily the ideal start to this team. But we do have a couple good looks. So as long as we keep on putting some rubber to the net, we should eventually get a point in our debut, I would hope. Come on, Sharon Govich. Maybe it's just a long off season for Dave. Like I did say, we do have a lot of trade points we could still spend before next episode. So you guys can let me know what we should maybe focus on. Oh my goodness. Maybe I should have gotten a little bit closer to Werenski trying to block that shot. Sylvain Deschamplain. I guess it was a generated guy with no picture, but he's making his NHL debut. Oh wait, they drafted super high up, so that must be who they drafted. They were like the 2nd overall pick or something, so that guy might have a lot of good potential, and maybe he's like an 80 overall already. Alright, that's kind of interesting to see. But yeah, the Kraken weren't good last season, so we should be able to beat a team like this, you would hope. Alright, come on. Let's see, Coronado's with it. Coronado lost control of it, damn. Come on, guys, we want to win this division. I know we got to wait 20 games to find that out, probably, but still. Dave throws it up to Sharon Govich. Sharon Govich will dump it. Coronado chasing down Werenski, but Werenski gets out easily. Yeah, so far, our team doesn't have that same urgency as the Leafs team we played with in the playoffs, but obviously it's the start of the regular season, so guys might be a little bit more tired, maybe not a little bit ready for the season, but we have a lot of games left in the season to try and figure out this chemistry with this team. And if this team's underperforming, like I said, there's a chance that maybe we decide to leave them early. Maybe we stick with them for at least one season. As the sim engine gives them another goal, and it's Deschamps. That's his first NHL goal, so right now, the sim engine's not really playing a good game for us. It's a 3-1 game with 46 seconds left in this first. Kraken are looking dangerous here in the early going. Come on, Carrier. Break it out. Break it out. Oh my goodness, I almost thought I was going to go offside on that play. But yeah, it kind of feels a little bit weird when you join a new team. It feels almost like what it probably would be in real life. There you go, ball. Oh my goodness, bad turnover. There you go. You got to Carrier. There's not enough time to shoot. So I'm just going to shoot that into Montour instead. Montour probably would be pissed off at that in real life, but oh well. Alright, not necessarily an ideal start. Sim engine has not been working super well for us. I mean, it gave us a goal, but to give them 3 goals, not good. Not good. I mean, we were out there for one of them, but that was definitely not on us. Alright, let's see if we could respond here. Let's see, Dave's with it, looking around. Dave throws it back to Zamula. That shot doesn't get through. Damn, the shots are never getting to the net, too, from the point man. Shala's turned away. Come on, let's go. There you go. Oh, Sharangovich trying to make a move. Gets by, maybe? Nope, he didn't decide to go interfere with Montour instead of get to that puck. Kind of weird. Oh, there you go. You got it, Sharangovich. Oh, good chance there. Coronado's. He's got it. Out front, Dave will shoot it, and he's robbed. Dave gets absolutely robbed in the slot. Going for his first goals of flame as Dave opened himself up. Nice pass from Coronado. This is definitely our best look yet. I don't know how I got robbed like that. But Dave gets robbed and Decord will freeze it. Oh, man. At least we're getting some looks. But we need to obviously find the back of the net. It's kind of frustrating not being able to score yet, as it did update Dave's profile picture now. So now he's actually got a Flames jersey on. So that's good. It would have been funny if it had kept him in the Leafs jersey the entire time. But we got our first power play with this Flames team. Let's go to the front here. Oh, nice chance there for our team. Dave almost found that loose puck, but unfortunately could not. And they're going to clear it. As that rebound was there for a little bit. Oh my goodness, why did you take that route, guys? Oh my goodness, they're going to get a shorthanded goal, aren't they? Nope, never mind. Oh, Robbie Fabry is on this team too. I did not even realize that. Coronado. Looking around. Sharangovich turned away as Dave tried to open himself up, but nobody passed it. They're probably still hesitant to pass it to Dave because they don't know him as well. Like, I don't remember how many games in our career we played against the Flames with Toronto. There you go. Open yourself up, Dave. There you go. Sharangovich. Nice pass up to Coronado. And that doesn't work. I just realized everybody on this line has a 7 in their number. Because Sharangovich is a 17, Dave is a 67, Coronado is a 27, as Dave already just gets blown up here. Let's get back. Man, our team is not playing good whatsoever right now in this first game. Not necessarily the type of team I was hoping to go to in this first game, but like I said, there's a lot of games left that will obviously eventually have some really good moments, but right now the sim engine's not working for us. Our team's not passing it the best when we're out there. Like, we've had some okay looks, but I don't know if Toronto been much better or not. I'm curious if Matthews is actually still in Toronto or not. Like, that's going to be the big thing, obviously. Like, if he did re-sign in Toronto, maybe we should have stayed with them. But if he didn't re-sign with them, maybe we dodged a huge bullet, because I don't know if Toronto's going to be as good this season if they did lose him. Ball with it. Ball looking around. Finds Dave. Dave lost control of it. What the heck did that puck warp all the way up to the point? Now we're getting slapped with some weird-ass bugs. Well, I don't know if that was a bug or not, but still. Here you go. Sharangovich to Carrier. Over to Coronado. Over to Dave. Dave looking around. Dave shoots it, and another glove save by Decord as Coronado was driving the net. Okay, so shooting on the glove side seems like it's almost impossible to score on Decord. I don't know, like I said, if I've played against Decord or not, but he's been locked in this game for Dave's first game ever as a Calgary Flame. Dave tries to open himself up again, lost control of it. Let's make sure we don't take any penalty there. I'm surprised there was no cutscene with Dave with the Conn Smythe as one of the like award things in the offseason, but I guess that's only regular season awards that they show. Come on, get it out. Get it out. There you go, Sharangovich. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm not too sure about how our team's playing in this first game. But I got to give it the benefit of the doubt, trying to figure out some new chemistry and all that. And we're going to go off on a line change, I think. A little bit of a long shift, it felt like. But I've had some really good looks, man. You got to eventually find a way to put one in. It could be like a greasy goal or anything, but I feel like we're probably going to lose this first game with Calgary. At least at this rate, but who knows. All right, here you go. Carrier a ball. Ball throws it up. Here is Dave again. Dave hasn't been able to have that speed to get around defenders as fast as he was last year. Oh my goodness. Friggin' Ty Nelson. I didn't know he could actually defend. I thought he was an offensive defenseman, but maybe he's not. And Deschamplain, though, like, looks like he's going to be a really dangerous player for Seattle. There you go. Quick pass over to Coronado. Coronado back to Dave. I don't know why he did that. Dave throws it back to Coronado, and that shot's turned away. Good pass there from Dave. Dave gets it back again and spins into Cord, finds it. It was another glove hand shot, too, but I didn't really have much of an option because I was spinning off that puck. But Dave is making as much of an impact as he can in terms of getting some chances and also setting up Coronado there. But unfortunately, we just have not been able to find a way to get a point yet. I feel like if I was in Toronto still, I'd probably already have multiple points in the first game, but honestly, who knows? I don't even know who Toronto's playing in their first game, but we're going to be down still 3-1 going into the third against a good Kraken team. They drafted high up, and they brought in Werenski, it seems like, so I think they might be a little bit more dangerous than they were last year. Hopefully our division isn't this crazy, but we know we're going to have to be taking on players like McDavid a lot in this division, which should be fun for a little bit of a test, going up against McDavid and Draisaitl consistently. Obviously last year we did that in the playoffs and the finals, but this season we'll be playing them multiple times. Oh, Dave trying to get around Kempe and can't. Jeez, man. They seem to be muscling me off a lot easier, too. Also, this, I guess, is technically my first game playing this since the update, so I don't know if they've updated anything in gameplay for offline or not, but I guess it might be. I don't know. Here's Dave. Holds on, throws it back to the point. Zamula shoots it. That shot's turned away. Dave throws a little hit there. Coronado digs it out, but does not put a good pass as Kempe intercepts it. Let's get back there, Dave. There you go. Oh, you got it. You got it. You got Sharangovich. Here you go. Nice pass up to Dave. Dave trying to get in. He's poke checked by Werenski. He'll stick with it. Dave holds on to it. Still holding on. Doesn't find anybody open yet. Waits for an open man. Finds Zane Parekh, who can't get a shot. And now he's got to defend. Oh my goodness. Somehow he gets by Dave with that deke. Oh my goodness. And Kempe scores. Oh man, this is not the first game I was hoping for. Oh. Yeah, it's not good. Adrian Kempe has scored both goals that we've been out there for. This one, Dave got deked, but then Coronado's defending. I don't know where the other defenseman is. Oh, he's all the way back there at the points, just scooting in. So, yeah, that's not good when you have to leave Coronado to defend, but that's a nice goal still by Kempe. God damn. Well, we have a good team play grade, but aside from that, this is a very bad debut in Calgary. But hopefully we could be better in the next game. Like, we are getting paid a lot of money to be here, so we got to actually live up to that contract. Because obviously we were on our ELC before this, so to make now $14 million a season, like, Dave is going to be able to get a lot of fun things, but he needs to also help this team out. Here's Dave, throws it to the point. Ball will bomb it, doesn't get through. The Kraken keep blocking shots too, which is making it really tough for us to get really good looks from our defenders. Nice pick off by Dave. Dave throws it all the way up. Found Sharangovich, but then he's immediately poke checked. Dave with a good hit. Now he's got the puck. Bluzinski trying to get around. Bluzinski walks to the net, shoots, and he's turned away as he tried to do what he was doing in Toronto, but he can't score there again. We're going to have a lot of shots before the end of the season, probably. Dave finds Coronado up the ball, as we probably have to go off on a line change soon. Again, Dave trying to help out defensively now. There you go. Let me go on a line change there, coach. And then hopefully we get a couple more shifts in this game to get still some plays. Like I said, I feel like I've had a strong game in terms of generating shots. It just sucks that we're a -2 in our first game, because we haven't had a game like this in a while. Like, we were really good plus-minus last year in the playoffs, so that's probably why this feels so weird. But let's get back over here. And there you go. Nice hit, kind of. Stevenson carrying it around. Deschamps geez, got to get away from that guy. Is Deschamps a defenseman? I guess he is a defenseman, but he seems like he plays like a forward or something like that almost. Yeah. I'm curious on what his overall is and what his potential is. It's probably elite potential, but Dave throws it back to Parekh again. He'll shoot it again. That shot is turned away. Coronado trying to dig it out. Dave tries to go to the front. Nobody gets that puck back again. I hope I get another shift still after this. Like, I really want to get my first point as a Flame already, but I got to hope that it comes at least next game if we don't get anything here. So we're going to be going to another power play as cross-checking call to Chandler Stevenson. Yeah, that's the right call for sure. We're probably not going to get a shift at the beginning of it, but we have actually an okay offensive grade now, but we're still not scoring. We got to get some points, please. There's going to be enough time for us to get some points. This might be one of our last shifts of the game. Come on, Dave, just get something. Use those X factors. We upgraded you. You should be even better than last season, so. But, yeah, last year we were well over point per game, so we got to obviously be like that here if we want to win the division. Sharon Govich, Dave going to the front, and I don't know if that would have been goalie interference, but that one's turned away. And it's cleared back to the point, and barely kept in by Fabry, but then he lost it. Dave's got to get back and help out defensively. Oh my goodness, Wolf made the save, and then Dave went right over him. Whew. I don't really know if I like the way our team's played in this one. I really don't. Seattle, though, it seems like they're really good, unless maybe they're just playing good in this first game because it is their home opener. I wish we could do our home opener already, but we won't be in Calgary for a while. But it'll be fun when we actually do get the play on our home ice and hear that goal horn, because I do really like the Flames goal horn. Parekh shot's blocked. Coronado digs it out. Parekh will shoot it. That doesn't get through again. How many block shots are the Kraken going to have? My goodness. Yeah, this is a tough start. This is a tough start. Okay, Coronado, you got me here. There you go. I don't really have a ton of speed, but I'll still carry it up. Maybe we'll get that second wind actually soon, so maybe we will have some. Coronado, a shot that's blocked again. Oh my goodness, I'm going on a line change. Hopefully we get one more shift before this game ends. But this has been a tough first game. And we're going to get one with 4 more seconds left only. Well, it looks like we're not going to have a point in our debut. Like, we should have probably got a point because we had a lot of chances. Just the difference is Joey Decord. Riker Evans shoots. Nice block on the shot there by our guys. But we will lose our first game as a Flame. Hopefully next episode's a little bit better in terms of playing. But that is not a desirable first game in the slightest. Our team didn't play the best. We didn't play that great. We had a lot of chances, but I feel like we could have played better. So Dave's first game as a Flame. 22 minutes and 43 seconds of ice time, was -2, had 7 shots. We had the puck for almost 3 minutes, and we did throw 4 hits in our first game, though. So a little bit more physicality out of Dave in his first game of the season this year, probably than last year. So that's at least good, but I don't like that I was a -2. Because we're supposed to be a good player in both ends of the ice, so we got to find a way to have a better game when we play the next game, which will be probably next episode. Should I? Yeah, I'll probably put it in this next episode. I just don't want this episode being like an hour and 40 minutes or something. So, but let's advance towards the next game already, just for next episode. Get Dave fully healthy, and then we'll take a look and see if Austin Matthews is still a Toronto Maple Leaf or not, because obviously we'll be playing him in a few weeks if that is the case. So let's get Dave fully healthy. There we go. And we might as well spend a little bit on trade points, just only like 2. And that way we still have 3 energy. Alright, let's take a look at where Matthews signed, if he did sign to Toronto again. Because they probably have played a game by now, I would assume. Let's see. I would feel like he re-signed there. Let's see. Yeah, he did re-sign there. What was his contract like? 6-year deal at $17.845 million. So you told me that they would have signed him and Dave to that much money. Both of them would have played together for a while. Marner is still there, of course. Nylander's there. Plekhanov is getting, I guess, a lot more ice time this year because he's already got a goal. So that's good for him. Nice. Quillen. They signed Boris Kachuk. So that's interesting. Morgan Riley's there. Carlo Gavrikov. Looks like pretty much the exact same team as last year, except for a couple new pieces like Sean Farrell. Tyler Boucher's there too, which is kind of funny. All right, what about the goalies? It's still Wool. All right, so the team literally probably didn't drop off that much, but I would assume that Plekhanov is going to be getting a lot of playing time, and that Kachuk was the replacement signing for Dave, and he's already got a point in one game, which is kind of funny. So, maybe we should have stayed as a Leaf. I'm not sure, but I'm excited still for the time ahead with the Flames and seeing if Dave is going to help this team win a Stanley Cup like they haven't won in quite a long time. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Dave Bluzinski Be a Pro. So in next episode, we will obviously get through probably like 3 to 4 games depending on playing time and all that, but it would be nice to play a couple of games in next episode. It's kind of a little bit strange being on a new team, but obviously we're up for the task. Would have been nice to stay in Toronto, maybe, but at the same time, we'll see how it is like playing in Alberta, playing guys like Connor McDavid on a consistent basis. So let us know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.